Senator Cramer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Director, for being here. I want to explore a little bit something that Senator Tester started on, and at least he referenced it. I've never been a financial regulator, but I've been a regulator. And the use of self-reporting can be a wonderful tool. It can be a wonderful incentive for companies to self-report, or it can be quite a disincentive depending on how the agency responds to that. I'd be interested in how it's going for you under your leadership. You know, now after a year, what's your sense of it, and maybe just even a little bit of you know, how it's gone and your philosophy with regard to self-reporting, and what is the right level of response, I guess, from the agency, and realizing it's a broad question, but and maybe it has a broad answer, but I'd be interested, and then I might explore just a little deeper on a follow-up.
Understood. Thank you, Senator. Last Friday, I reissued and really strengthened our responsible business conduct bulletin. So it's something that outlines for institutions what this means, what it means to self-identify and report, assess, I should say self-assess and self-report, and then remediate and cooperate. And it is fundamental, frankly, to our ability to target our resources. There are absolutely predatory lenders out there. There are bad actors who have no intent of complying with the law, some who are even ignorant of the law. And we have a broad mandate with respect to both, you know, financial institutions, non-bank entities. So making sure that we are focused on where we need to be focused on, we need those who are truly engaged, who have compliance management systems, who have a glitch or make a mistake or have a bad actor inside the institution. When they identify that and they report that to us, we are saying we will favorably consider that in our actions in supervision and enforcement around that. And true cooperation, even just in identifying an issue, it may not be a violation. The institution does not have to concede it is a violation. It's really letting us know about the issue, having the dialogue, bringing that forward in a constructive way so that any harmed consumers can be helped and that this can be addressed quickly. And so that's the kind of behavior we're trying to encourage. My examination force is a very dedicated team of people. We're adding to those ranks too. And so making sure that they understand that and they are conveying that to institutions. It's an ongoing training effort, but I have heard very positive things from institutions as I interact with them and go around and talk to them about this.
Well, what sort of prompted me to ask the question that way was Senator Tester and you had an interesting dialogue with relation to enforcement action versus complaints. And as he was drawing I think a distinction, or at least thought there should be a correlation where the more complaints there are, the more enforcement action there ought to be. And if we play gotcha regulation with every complaint, guess what? You might not get a lot of complaints, at least from within an organization. So I would be interested, maybe just a little bit to wrap up, on your thoughts about, or your philosophy about the role of a regulator with regard to enforcement action versus helping the lenders be compliant. And I know sometimes it can be a tricky line, but how you treat, for example, self-reporting will mean more than the training in terms of whether you continue to have that type of cooperation.
No, absolutely, Senator, I agree. And the way I've outlined our mission is really a continuum. It does start with consumers, and we do need to educate them so they know when they're engaging in the marketplace what they should expect. It's getting clear rules in place and guidance mechanism for institutions that are trying to comply, the ability to have back and forth on their questions and interpretation issues. That's also engaged in through the supervisory process. So what does compliance mean? How do we get the right rigorous systems in place? And then enforcement. It is a blunt tool, but a very important one, and we need to use it effectively to make sure we're incentivizing the right behavior in the marketplace and going after those who are bad actors in the system. That hurts everyone in a competitive marketplace.
Well, it's very well said, and I commend you on it, considering that we are having this interesting debate on the creation of a completely unaccountable, blank check, self-funded regulatory agency. It's nice to see somebody exercising that type of balance in that role until such time as it can be changed. And I thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator